we can't directly experience ancient people's use of plants on the landscape. So for people of the present, there are 3 lines of evidence to help us triangulate into that space of ancient plant use. And the first are the archaeological remains of the plants that people left behind. Now we're here in humid East Texas, and most of the plants that were used by people and are used by people eventually become compost, unless they're carbonized, unless they've ended up in the fire, and that's where most of our archaeological remains come from. We have in ancient Caddo trash pits, there are remains of plants that were used for food, such as these acorn nut meats that were burned. These are little bits of corn kernels from that same site. And so not only are there food plants, there are also bits of plants, these burned bits of split cane, used for basketry, and structural wood. Even after burning and 1,000 years in the soil, wood retains the cell structure that allows you to identify it sometimes to species and sometimes to genus. Yeah, it was some kind of oak, we can't say for sure. So that is one drawback of the archaeological aspect of understanding plant use, is that we can't always be terribly precise about exactly which plant it was, but we can get close, at least to the genus level. The other bias in the archaeological record is that it's mostly tough plant parts that survived the fire. Tobacco seeds, yes. Tobacco leaves, no. So some of the more delicate greens, we don't have as good an archaeological understanding of. Fortunately, there are 2 other lines of evidence of ancient plant use. And the second, obviously, are the native people who are with us today, descendants who carry with them family traditions, cultural traditions of plant use, and often heirloom seeds, farmers' varieties of plants that have never been part of the industrial agricultural system and still persist to this day. And the third line of evidence of ancient plant use is experimentation. That it's easy in your mind when you think about ancient basketry to maybe slide over some of the details of how was it done, how do you harvest, what time of year should you harvest cane, how finely should you split it, what kind of knife do you use, and then experimentation and reconstructing those ancient traditions, whether it's pottery or basketry or cooking.